In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. And God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees, according to their various kinds. Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. Let the land produce living creatures, according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. The Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. God saw all that he made, and it was very good. Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. I'll call that a penguin. And that a monkey. Ooh, you know what I'll call that one? A Dilophosaurus. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. While he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat any fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" "You will certainly not die," the serpent said to the woman. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food, and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened. They were deceived, and they sinned against the Lord. So the Lord banished him from the Garden of Eden, and a curse from their sin fell on them. He placed on the east side of the garden a cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. This is the story of Cain and Abel, two sons to Adam and Eve. The Lord looked with favor on Abel's offerings, but on Cain's offering he did not look with favor on. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. The Lord said, "What have you done? Now you are under a curse. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. So God said to Noah, "I'm going to put an end to all the people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth, so make yourself an ark out of cypress wood. I'm going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, of every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come with you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it as food for you and for them." Noah did everything just as God commanded. And after the 7 days, the floodwaters came on the earth, and rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Every living thing that moved on land perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarmed over the earth, and all mankind. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the water had gone down. God made a promise and marked it in the sky with a rainbow. Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of human heart is evil from childhood. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. This is Abraham. The Lord said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's house to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great." And Abraham went as the Lord had told him, along with Lot his nephew and his wife Sarah. Now Lot could not stay with Abraham, because their herders were quarreling with each other. So Lot went towards Sodom, and Abraham lived in the land of Canaan. Now Sodom was filled with wickedness. 2 angels arrived at Sodom, and said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-laws or sons and daughters, and anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place." The outcry to the Lord against his people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. Flee from your lives and don't look back. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah, destroying all those living in the cities. As the Lord promised, Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in her old age. Abraham was tested. God said, "Take your son, your only son who you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there at a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Abraham was about to slay his son, but an angel of the Lord called out to him from the heavens, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. "Don't lay a hand on that boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him now. Now I know that you fear God." Abraham looked up, and there in the thicket he saw a ram caught in its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide." When Isaac was old, he called for his oldest son Esau, and he said to him, "My son, go out and hunt. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like, and then bring it to me so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Then Esau left for the open country. Now Isaac's wife Rebekah had been listening in on this. Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I overheard your father say to your brother Esau, 'Bring me some tasty food so that I may give you the blessing.' Now listen carefully. Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." "My father, it is Esau your firstborn. The Lord your God gave me success." Isaac ate the meal and then blessed Jacob instead of Esau. So the blessing and promise that God gave to Abraham was passed down to Jacob. Esau came in from hunting and prepared a tasty meal. Isaac asked, "Who are you?" He answered, "Your firstborn, Esau." Isaac trembled violently. "Who is it that I bless then?" When Esau heard this, he burst out with a loud, bitter cry. "No! Bless me too. Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing, and I have made him lord over you." When Jacob grew up, he had 12 sons, also known as the 12 tribes of Israel. And these were the 12: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Now Jacob loved Joseph more than any of the other sons, because he had been born to him in his old age. So he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. "Hey, you suck. You're never gonna be anything more than a shepherd. You're just a dad's boy." Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers, they hated him more. The dream showed the 11 brothers bowing down to him. Joseph's brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem. Jacob said to Joseph, "Come, I'm going to send you to them. Go and see if all is well with your brothers, and then bring word back to me." Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. When the brothers saw him in the distance, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern, but don't lay a hand on him." So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, his ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty, and there was no water in it. As they looked up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites. Judah said, "What will we gain if we kill our brother? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites." Then they got Joseph's robes, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the robe back to the father. Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. Meanwhile, the Ishmaelites, also known as the Midianites, sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. Joseph was wrongly accused of adultery. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison. But while Joseph was in the prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. And he interpreted some dreams by the power of God.
Pharaoh had a dream and wanted to know the meaning of it,
but no one could interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer remembered the young Hebrew man who interpreted his dream. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. I had a dream and no one can interpret it, but I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream you can interpret it. I cannot do it, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Then Pharaoh explained his dream. In my dream there are 7 fat cows, and then 7 lean and ugly cows. And then the lean and ugly cows came up and ate all the fat cows. The 7 good cows are the 7 years of plenty, and the 7 bad, ugly cows are the 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. Then Pharaoh said, since God has made this all clear to you, there is no one discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, why do you just keep looking at each other? I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us, so that we may live and not die. Then 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. Then he remembered his dream about them, and said, you are spies, you have come to see where our land is unprotected. This is how you will be tested. You will not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. So they hurried off. Judah said to his father, send the boy along with me, and we will go at once. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible for him. Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal, and prepare a meal. They are to eat at my house at noon. Then Joseph made himself known. I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. Do not be angry or distressed. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good.
How?
What?
Huh?
You're alive.
No way.
When the news reached Pharaoh that Joseph's brothers were here, he was pleased, and he said, I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can enjoy the fat of the land. Sometime later, Jacob became very ill. So he blessed Joseph before he died. And he said, I'm going to make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will make you a community of peoples, and I will give this land as an everlasting possession to your descendants after you. Then Joseph buried Jacob the same place where Abraham and Isaac lay. And we can see in a quick family tree, from Abraham to Joseph. Here's Abraham's son Isaac and his wife Rebekah. And here's Isaac's sons, Jacob and Esau, Jacob being the father of Joseph. Here are Jacob's spouses, 2 wives and 2 servants. And here are the 12 sons, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe learned something new as well. If you were interested in this or want to see more in the future, definitely hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one.